Hello everybody, welcome back to this tutorial channel. Today we are going to be learning about some of the various tools in Photoshop. So um, so let's get started. So as for the move tool, I believe that we already know how to go about it. So what I'm going to be showing you is the most important tools in Photoshop. Okay, you don't need to know every tool in Photoshop. You don't need to as a beginner or as a learner, you don't need to know everything to do great designs. You just have to know the most important ones. So we are just going to touch on the most important tools. So the move tool, so this is the move tool, and then the shortcut for the move tool is Vane. Okay, so let's say you highlight this, and if you want to move it, you just press V on your keyboard, then you come here, right click, then you just move it around. So this is how it works. So the artboard here works in a different manner, but it only applies when you are your main design is an artboard. Okay, so let's so that tutorial is going to come later on. Yeah, so moving on to the next tool. Okay, we have the selection tool. That's the rectangle marquee tool. So this is a selection tool. So right now is our rectangle marquee tool. Okay, so when you right click on this, you see that you have a rectangle, elliptical, single row, single column. Okay, so basically if you want to do a square selection, okay, even when you place a pointer on it, it gives you an illustration. Okay, so when you want to do a selection where it's a rectangular form, you just have to do this. Okay, if you want to do a selection which is in a circular form, you just have to use a circle one. Okay, if you want to do a selection which is in the row form, so that is what we have here. Okay, so basically, but then the most important ones are the rectangle and then the elliptical. Okay, these two you may not really need them as time goes on, but you as time goes on you may need them, but for now these are the two important ones you need to know. So the next two is the lasso tool. Okay, so the lasso tool is basically used for a selection or a cutout. Okay, so let's say okay, so we want to select this. Okay, let's select her head. Okay, and let's do this. Okay, so now let's say we want to cut this particular head out. Okay, so we just have to how do you call it? So first, you can't cut, you have to make sure you rasterize this layer. When you rasterize a layer, you make it let's say vulnerable to editing. Okay, you make it editable. Let me see, you make it editable. So when you rasterize it, and now you click on Control X. Okay, or you just have to right click, then cut layer out. Okay, you see that it has been cut. So when you select the move tool and then you click on it and you move, you see that the head is out. Okay, so that is how to use the lasso tool. Okay, so let's Control Z, and then so same goes to the to the polygonal lasso tool. Same goes to that, but the polygonal lasso tool is in the form of a straight line. Okay, it's in the form of a straight line. You get it? So it works the same way as I showed you previously. It's in the form of a straight line. So you click here, then it has already been rasterized. Click. So let's rasterize it again. Then click, right click, and then cut via layer. You see that it has been cut. So you select the move tool, then you move it out. You realize that it has been cut out. Okay, so and guys, um try using shortcuts. Okay, it's going to make your life easier and it's going to make your designing faster. So let's say if you wanted to use a move tool, you can just press V on the keyboard and it will be activated. Okay, so let's move on to the object selection tool. The object selection tool is used for selecting objects. Okay, as you can even see the illustration. So let's say this lady here, we want to select her. Okay, so we draw this around here, then we wait for some minutes. Okay, so there we go. So you realize that it has selected the main object in this picture. Okay, it has selected the main object in this picture. So that is how to use the object selection tool. So basically, objects in, if you want to select a particular object in a picture, you use the object selection. Okay, so let's control, and you click Control D to deactivate. Okay, or you can just right click on it, then deselect to deactivate it. Okay, so that is how we deactivate a selection. Okay, so you right click here, then object, you have quick selection tool. So the quick selection tool helps you to make a selection quicker. So let's say you want to still select you left click, right, then you just do your selection around here like this. So that is when you want to manually do your selection. Okay, so that is when you, so let's say, looking at this, you see that the selection has gone overboard. Okay, so if you want this to align with her body, you have to press Alt. When you press Alt, you realize that the plus sign will change to minus. So right now I'm pressing Alt, you realize that the plus sign has changed to minus. So when the plus sign changed to minus, it means that it's subtracting this one closer to the woman. Okay, so when you right click and you drag around, you realize that the line or the selection around here is coming closer. Okay, I believe you can see it. So looking at this like this, you see that the selection has come inside here. So you want to bring the selection at the edges of here. Okay, so you leave it the plus sign like this, then you left click, then you drag small, then you realize that yes, it has been at the edge. Okay, so that is how the plus and the minus works. So for you to activate the minus, you press on Alt. Okay, so, and the magic wand selection. So let's deactivate this first. Let's deactivate. So you can also press Control D to deactivate. Control D to deactivate. So the magic selection kind of does everything for you. So let's look at the illustration here. It just kind of selects everything for you. So let's click on here. So it kind of does a whole selection for you. Okay, it kind of does a whole selection for you. So that is how the magic selection works. So this is a crop tool. So basically cropping. So when you drag down like this, maybe you want to crop here, then you have to realize that whenever you do something in Photoshop, correct it. Click the check, this one over here, to correct all your works, or else you'll not be able to move on to what you have to do next. So let's click this. Then you realize that it has been cropped. Okay, so let's Control Z to come back. Control Z, then Control D to deselect. Okay, so so the frame tool you don't need to know the frame tool at this moment. So this is the eyedropper tool. So if you look at the eyedropper tool, let's put this one on it. So the eyedropper tool helps you to make a color selection on something. Okay, so this, you see that we have a blue color. Okay, so when you click it here, you see that we have a red color. So it helps you to make a selection, okay, of colors. Okay, so that is what you need to know. Then you have the ruler tool. So the ruler tool just helps you to draw a ruler, as you can see. So let's move on to the next tool. That's the spot hailing brush. Tool. So let's use this picture as an illustration. Okay, so using a spot hailing brush tool, So guys, as I said, because our image has not been rasterized, that is why it is bringing us this. So we said a rasterize smart object. So we click on OK. The spot healing brush to just let's look at the magic over here. So let's increase the size more, and then you can see there is pimples on the lady's face. So let's click on the pimples and let's see what happens. You realize that the spot healing brush too has taken out the pimples. Okay, so let's click on this pimple and see. Yeah, there's no pimple again. Let's click on this pimple and see. There's no pimple there. There's no pimple there. There's no pimple there. So basically this is what it does. And not to say that it is used to remove pimples from people's faces, but then that is the it kind of takes wherever you click, it takes its surrounding color and then puts it at wherever you are clicking. Okay, so it kind of duplicates its surrounding color or its surrounding texture, then place it at wherever you are clicking. Okay, so that is the magic that happens. Okay, so let's Control Z, bring back the pimples. Then let's move to the healing brush tool. So the healing brush tool kind of does does the same way what is happening. The healing brush tool kind of does the same way, but for the healing brush tool you would have to sample what is happening. You would have to sample. Okay, so let's rasterize. Okay, let's rasterize. You would have to sample. Okay, so you have to sample and then you use it on the wherever area you want to do. Okay, unlike the spot healing brush that you just have to click on it, but the healing brush you have to take a sample near the skin or wherever you want it to look like. So you take the sample by clicking Alt on the key on your keyboard, and you realize that when you click Alt, the pointer changes. So when you click Alt, then you just right click to sample. Okay, you right click, you left click. Sorry, you left click. You click on the skin to sample. So now you have a sample. So when you bring it here, you realize that there's a color, there's a brown color. Okay, so that's the sample it takes by clicking the Alt. Then you just have to click it on wherever the affected area is. Then you see that it covers it, okay, with the sample that you've taken. Okay, so that is how the spot healing brush tool works. So the patch tool kind of does a similar thing. So the patch tool, you have to draw around the pimple. Okay, you have to draw around the pimple. Oh, sorry, my circle didn't come out well. When you draw around the pimple, you see that this selection comes. Then you left click. Okay, you click on it, then drag to the area that you want that place to look exactly like. Okay, so let's click to this place. Then you realize that yes, you see that it has come to that kind of selection. So let's do that to this picture. Then you see that it has. So let's surround this and then drag it down. See, it takes the sample of that skin to that side and covers it. Okay, so that is how the patch tool works. Okay, so we'll talk about the content aware move tool and then the red eye tool later. So let's move on to the brush tool. So the brush tool basically used for drawing brushes. I don't need to waste my time on that. Let's Control Z. And then the clone tool, okay, the clone tool also does a similar job like the patch tool and then the healing brush tool. Okay, if you can see what is happening right now. So when you click on the clone tool, sorry, the clone tool, it works like the healing brush tool. Okay, so that one too, you need to take a sample. So let's increase the size. You need to take a sample by clicking on the Alt key and then clicking anywhere to take your sample to pick. So let's pick our sample from here. Then you just apply it at wherever that you want the sample to be. Okay, so let's apply it here and make sure that you select closer to wherever that you want that this one to be the sample to be taken. Okay, you see that the pimples are cleaning. The pimples are cleaning. Okay, so even let's take let's take a sample from here. Then you clean here. You see that it's affecting that area. So that is how the clone tool works. It's the clone tool kind of clones. I believe we understand clone, right? Cloning is duplicating. So it duplicates the color from a particular environment, or it duplicates an object from a particular environment and then place it in another environment. So that is how it works. So okay, so let's skip this two for now. It's not the most important for now. So the eraser tool basically used for erasing stuffs. Okay, so I mean, so if you want to reduce the hardness of this and increase the size, okay, you just come here, increase the size, see that the size has increased. Then you reduce the hardness for it to become a little bit soft. Then you clean it. Okay, so that is how it works. That is how the eraser tool works. So let's Control Z, Control Z. So let's take so let's move on to the next one, the gradient tool. So the gradient tool is basically used for making gradients. Okay, so when you click upwards, then you see that there's a gradient. Okay, then you change the color by clicking here, then clicking here, then click here, then you change your color to wherever that you want your color whatever to be, then click OK. It will change. Okay, if you want to change the black to the same process, okay, let's not waste more time. And then the blur tool, the blur tool explains itself, right? It's basically used to blur stuff. Okay, it's basically used to blur stuff. If you want to increase the size of this, just come here, increase the size, then you just blur whatever that you want to blur. If you can watch clearly, it's blurring the eyes. It's blurring the eyes. So let's Control Z to see. I hope you saw the effect. It's blurring the eyes. It's used to blur stuff. Okay, so Control Z. Then which tool is this? This is a dodge tool. Okay, so we don't need to learn about the dodge tool for now. So let's move on to the pen tool. So the pen tool is one of the most important tools. Okay, so you use the pen tool by activating it, of course. And please kindly note the shortcut for all the tools I've mentioned. Okay, let's take note of the shortcut. So the pen tool, you click, then you click and hold, click. So this is how we use the pen tool. So let's Control Z. So let's say you want to make a curve. Okay, so you can click here, then you come and click here. Okay, then you raise it up like this, you do a curve. Okay, if you want the curve to go up like that, let's Control Z. If you want the curve to go up, you press your Control key on your keyboard, then you click here, then you raise it up like this. Raise it up like that. So let's say let's pick the freedom pen tool. Okay, so when you select it, then you click here, it gives you that kind of curve that you need. Okay, and then let's see the curvature tool. Click here, then it gives you the curve that you need. Okay, it gives you the curve that you need. So an anchor tool. So the anchor tool works this way. Draw a rectangle, then let's select the anchor tool, add an anchor. So let's add the anchor over here. You click here to add the anchor. Now the anchor has been added. Then you click and hold that side to do whatever you want to do. So this is how the anchor tool works. Okay, so let's move on. So delete anchor basically deletes the anchor. It kind of deletes the anchor. It's so self-explanatory. So the text tool is basically used for text. Okay, basically used for text. I don't need to stress about this. The way you right click, it just gives you the various orientation that you want your text to be in, vertical type. No time to waste here. Okay, you don't need to know about the path tool for now. So the shape is basically used for drawing shapes. And if you want to know more about the custom shapes, go and watch my YouTube video about shapes. Okay, so and this is the zoom tool. Basically it explained itself. The zoom tool, you click, when you click on the zoom tool, then there's a plus sign. You click once to increase. Okay, then when you want to zoom out, you have to press your alt key, then you click to zoom out. Okay, so that is how it works. But with the mouse, when you're using the mouse, you can just click on the object, then drag up to increase. Okay, then you drag down to decrease. Okay, that's when you're using the mouse. Okay, so basically these are the tools that you have to know. Okay, so so when you come to the, so let's talk about the menus over here. When you come to the file, new is for creating a new file. Open, I mean, if you want to save as, if you want to export your image, I believe you should know all these things. This is how, when you're done with your design and you want to export your image as a PNG, as a picture, that is what you do. Okay, if you want to export as a JPEG, okay, a JPEG folder, you have to come to export, then save for web legacy. Then you can see that, okay, there's a JPEG, you choose JPEG. Okay, then you choose maximum, yeah, then you just click save. Then you, I mean, it's a simple process here. So yeah, so basically these are the stuffs what you have to know, for now. So I'll be releasing more videos on the various tools and how to use it. So bye for now.